as I suspected, ran out of memory, but we're good. Ran out of space, not memory. Anyway, so just to carry on now, so we know that this form basically is working in that the if I go Mary and I go, hey, it says, hey, are you sure? Because you haven't saved anything. I go cancel. I go save. It resets this to 0, and I can leave. Actually resets it to -1. All right. So the next thing to do now, we need to make our lives complete from those pages on 332 and 333 is I need to add the validate data, because this particular private event or method, I should say, is needed for us when we're going to save. All right, so this is going to be something that we have to basically create on our own. There's no event for it, so I'm going to go private Boolean, and then is valid data, valid data, and that, and then I'm going to do this with the whole braces. All right. So if, first of all, if in this case the select index is equal to -1, that basically means they didn't bother selecting anything. That's very sad, and it makes us angry. So what we're going to do then is we're going to basically say that the message box dot show is basically, select a customer, which makes sense because we're trying to actually do orders here, and if we don't have any customers, it's not much of an order. Semicolon, and then we're going to rub their nose in it by throwing the focus right back to CBO names, not CBS names, but CBO names is going to get the focus again. All right, so focus. Okay, and this is too low on my screen too, so I'm starting to lose it. Okay, what's up? Why are you freaking on me here? Okay, by the way, that's an assignment, first of all, not a comparison. So that'll do that. All right, and then guess what? We're going to return false because the value, it's not good. The data is not good, so it's not valid. The next thing they wanted us to check for is whether there's a payment. Now this is going to get us because we have no way to populate this yet. But anyway, if the list box payment dot text is nothing, so if that's nothing, all right, and again with the fat fingers, there it is. All right, so if that's nothing, then what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, you got to enter a payment method. So message box dot show, and you have to enter a payment. Now, one thing I've not really added here is the second argument to this thing. We're just taking the default modal here, but I haven't basically said something to the effect of error. All right, so let's do that to make it look a titch nicer. It really is only a titch nicer. They're not going to like this, but anyway. So I get that. And again, at this point, return false. Okay, don't know why you bothered. Oh, you indented it because you think you're part of this. I see. Okay, so semicolon, and let's get you back. Okay, so return doesn't equal false, Grant. It's actually just false. All right, so let's do this and let's run it. Okay, no, I do not want to do that. I want to see what I did here. If Boolean, whatever date. Oh, yeah. In the end, I don't return anything. All right. If this return false, if this return false, then basically here's the deal. If we make it this far, then everything's cool. So we're going to go return true. There you go. Yeah, you can't have a function. Unlike Python, this actually figured out right away. It's like, dude, it's possible for me to have a function that doesn't return anything. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go Mary. I'm going to go exit. Form's got unsaved data. Do I want to save it? I'm going to go yes. And now it's going cool. And it left. Not really what I was expecting. Why? And actually now I got to figure out where my cool was because I don't like that too much. Oh, right down here. In the form closing, I didn't bother to check to see if it's valid. So that's where I made my mistake there. All right, so basically if the button, do you want to save? This is the basically, do you want to save yes, no, or cancel? If they say yes, I did this message box. This was my to-do. I wasn't supposed to just do cool. What I was supposed to do here is basically say if is valid data. So this will basically be true. So if that's the case, then save the data. Save data. How come I don't have that? I don't have a function called save data. I put it all into the event. That's what happened there. All right, so I tell you what, let's go right under here. I'm going to make one. So take that, Academy. I'm going to go private void, because it's not going to return anything. I'm going to say save data, just like we got there, save data, and put in here this stuff. Copy and go paste. So we're going to go save the data, which honestly, reset the customer, set the payment thing, is data saved true, focus, sure. So now my save data is working. Thank you very much for that. So let's go back up and make sure I did that right then. So I've kind of lost where I was in this code. All right, right. So if the thing is true, if it's good, then save the data. Otherwise, we're going to cancel. Else e.cancel is equal to true. And I'm missing a semicolon. Is that right? Yes, I'm missing a semicolon. And actually, I'm missing this because it's a function. All right. Whew. Fun stuff. All right. So good. Let's fire it off again. Okay, so now again, testing what I know. Here's Mary. I want to exit. Oh, you made a change. Okay, go cancel. I'm going to save it. And it's saved, even though this is null, which is a little bit weird, but you know what? That's okay. Maybe I forgot to change something in here. But I think it's about time anyway. We now start to hook up the payment form, because we haven't really done anything. We still have this button out here that's not doing anything. This button there. And that's the button that we need to start really monkeying with. So I tell you what, just to be cool, we'll make sure we go to the right spot. There's our spot. And this is the interesting part. I think we're going to enter a world now where some of this stuff is really going to stop working because I don't have any code in this form, but I'm going to go form. The variable is called payment form. And what is it? It's a new firm payment. So it's a new one of those things using the constructor. All right. And then it's going to be dialog result dot the button. There's going to be a button that's going to come out of this. It's going to be assigned. And that's not going to be assigned dialog. It's going to be assigned pay. Really? Come on. Dialog that select button. It's going to be our new variable here, our new little form, payment form dot show dialog. And then if in the end, so if in our select button, the dialog, by the way, you're saying, well, what's the dialog, Grant? Well, the dialog is going to be one of these two buttons that are going to come out of it. All right. So the select button, if this thing is actually equal to dialog result okay, so if that's actually equal to that, then our LBL, our list box payment.text is going to be casting as a string payment form tag. Now, yeah, that is so not going to work. First of all, this has got to be dialogue. Dialogue. What am I missing here? Dialogue result. Dialogue. Okay, so there's that. This guy is payment form. It said from, not form. So form. Still pretty confident that this is still going to blow chunks, but I'm going to run it anyway, just for giggles. So I'm going to go payment, hook in my customer form to the whatever. I'm going to pick Mike. I guess I've been calling Mike Mary the whole time. Anyway, Mike, I'm going to click on this button and boom, it brings up this form like a champ. I'm going to go cancel, and now I'm back over here. We're going to click on the select form. Boom, it brings up this thing like a champ. I'm going to go okay. And I guess this isn't set for what that's supposed to mean yet, which is fine. That's fine, because this, again, I haven't got an okay thing in here. So awesome. I'm pretty happy with this. I think I've captured all the ideas of this code in the order that I would have wanted to present it. So in the beginning, right, we've got some population of the customer, of the control box, pulling names. These are hard coded, but we're going to get closer to pulling the stuff off of files or databases, so I'm not worried about that. Basically, if someone makes a change, then we know that we need to save the data. That's what that's doing. In this case, if someone makes a change to customer, we're going to wipe out the payment method, and we're also going to say that, hey, we've got to save this thing. In this case, if someone clicks on select payment, it's going to bring up a whole new form, and it's going to pay attention to what's coming back out of the form. So there's that, and that form itself will take care of its own data. If they save, we're going to basically make sure the data is valid, and then save it. So here's a little saving, which is setting the customers, sending customers back to nothing, wiping out the payment, basically saying we have saved the data, and then putting focus. And then validating the data is just basically making sure we have a customer, making sure we have a payment. Closing is closing. And then form closing is basically saying, hey, is the data saved? If not, maybe you should save it. And before it allows you just to, right? So let's see, it's contained whatever. And if the person basically clicks back, yes, go ahead, save it, it validates it again. It kind of repeats processing from above. So we'd be tempted to move that out. All right. Wow. Move that out, I should say, into its own method, and then just call that method. So I think, believe it or not, that was the end of that. Only about 4 questions, 5. Yeah, we still have to figure out the code for the payment form, which is numbers 10 through 13. So we'll be returning to this. But again, in the spirit of a hard drive that's got too much crap, I'm going to end this one and then resume with the payment.